I am live. Oh boy. Well, that's going to be a thing. Continue? No? Continue? Yes. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rocman X. First of all, I apologize because this is totally not the time this game was originally scheduled at to be. I actually completely messed up the time zones and stuff like that, but thankfully Brossentia and Tristan and the organization, they managed to just kind of give me a time slot really spontaneously quickly, so thank you very much to those guys. So ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a quick introduction to this game. This is Rocman X. Not Rocman X, it's Rocman X with a C. And let me real quick point this out. This is an emulator called Fake NES. I tested 15 emulators until I found the one that actually emulates this game the way it plays on console. So it's a pretty special piece of cake. Either way, I would like to point out this game has one and a half things good going for it. For one, I think the pixel art is actually really good. The half thing is the music. Sometimes it ranges from really good to... well, you'll see. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, let's just start this game. First of all, start. Here we have a stage select. If you don't choose the correct stage, you are completely screwed. Also, I would like to point out real quick, this is how it looks on console. It completely messes up the vertical scrolling and it is really messed up. Also, then we have a mechanic where we just fly pretty far. And that flight is essentially about one screen length of distance, and unfortunately you cannot interrupt it at all, and it only hurts you when you fly into enemies, so it's actually not an attack, it's literally just for movement. And it is super awkward to use. Whenever you get hit, your charge, so to speak, resets. So, first of all, I'm going to collect some money. I need about 40 coins, there we go. And we take the second exit of this level. The reason for that is... oh, I messed that up already. The reason for that is because we need to... continue? No, continue, yes. I already messed up, that's okay. The reason for it is because we need to farm a little bit of money. This is also why, if you don't choose the correct stage from the get-go, you have a pretty big problem in being able to complete this. Let me tell you that. So either way, there is no variable jump height. As high as I'm jumping, that's as high as you always jump. I tap the button lightly, I hold it long, it doesn't matter. That is just how fast or high I jump. It's super floaty and really awkward. So the gameplay is basically no good of this game, unfortunately. Then we have this secret exit over here, quote-unquote secret. It's actually further away from the exit to the stage, but let me tell you, there's a secret here where we can farm really easily money. So, you already saw me die once. Basically, it asked me, continue? No, I don't want to continue. Then it asked me again, continue? And then we say yes. So, the reason for that is a little bit weird, I guess, because you may notice that the first continue the game wants to give me is a literal continue, which means it places me exactly from where I just died. Also, now we want to die to get more money. But that's kind of difficult because the bottom of the screen doesn't work. Except if we dash across the button. Continue? No. Continue? Yes. Alrighty, either way, we need about 500 monies. I have no idea about the currency in this game, it doesn't really matter. To upgrade our weapon at the shop. There's always a weapon or a shop basically at the end of a stage. Or, well, at the end of a two-part stage. There is no health refill between the stages except for one instance. Alrighty, we have 500 monies and that's all we need. So, I would like to point out that, as I said, I tested about 15 emulators. Most of them emulated the game probably the way it was intended to be played, without that weird graphics distortion. But this is actually how it looks on an NES console if you play it. So it is pretty fascinating. Either way, it is really convenient that there is no death pit, so to speak, and just floor, so I can just go. So here we buy a new weapon. By the way, I like the shop interface. Then we switch to the weapon. and then hit this guy. So, here I would like to point out, this guy here is the first boss. We cannot hit him while he's blinking, and very often we cannot hit him while he's not blinking. Only during very specific time frames we can actually hit him. Just after he lands, and just after he shoots, well, when he's not blinking, that is. So, either way, you can see this boss fight will take quite a while, even though I hit him as often as I can and as soon as I can. So the thing about this is, however, the weapon I just bought, you might have thought that's a pretty big investment to get out of my way to buy a weapon like this. The weapon I just bought is 3 times as strong as the basic weapon. This boss fight alone here would be responsible for losing all the time that, well, I've just lost basically far in the weapon. So then we choose this stage here. If you choose this stage here first, as in your first casual play, you're just completely screwed. Also, it's really convenient that there's no death pit. There's emulators where actually the death pits are emulated properly. Either way, the reason is here. I need to have a pixel perfect setup. And then we do this. I just land on the ledge in front of this turret, which allows me to just kill this turret really fast. Quote-unquote fast. It still takes 10 hits with the upgraded weapon, but it would take 30 hits with the basic weapon to kill those turrets. And if you don't know about this ledge setup, it is almost impossible to kill those turrets with your basic weapon. I can only shoot down if I'm jumping, so I have a very small time window to actually hit that thing. Also, the edge of the screen right to the right is there as soon as you defeat all the turrets. Then we jump off to the left of the stage and take a little shortcut. The stages are actually designed in a pretty interesting way. Honestly, I don't think this game is necessarily supposed to be bad, as in, I do think the developers tried to make this a good game originally. It just kind of, it feels like they invested a fair bit into the art department, a little bit into the music, and they didn't really think about gameplay too much. So this is kind of what I call a puzzle platformer. Unintentionally so, but it's a puzzle platformer. Because you kind of need to get through, and it's pretty puzzling as to where you need to go through. Especially if the screen distorts like this. So essentially I just kind of know where to go, but the first time figuring out where to go was pretty fascinating. Either way, I destroy only... that's actually going to be a bit risky. I'm only going to destroy 2 of those turrets, and there's a ceiling above me. There, now I can go through. He shoots twice and we go up. So, the thing is, if I destroy all those turrets, there is going to be a big dinosaur in the way that I can't damage boost through because I don't have enough health. Either way, that is stage 2 clear. And this is the stage 2 boss. I'm just deliberately running into him, so I take a death, but my health gets refilled. Continue? No. Continue? Yes. So this guy, while he's blinking, he does not hurt you. You can't just walk into him while he's blinking, doesn't matter. Also, his attacks don't work. Basically, when he does that arm reach in the air, he calls down some icicles or something like that. It doesn't work while he's blinking, it's pretty fascinating. Like there, he tries, it doesn't work. Second time he tries, and that worked. Either way, this game is called Rocman X, and the original working title or something like that of this game was called Thunder Blastman X or something like that. Either way, they eventually published it under the name Rocman X, probably to cash in on people who were just kind of looking for Rocman X, the actually good Mega Man titles, and then they got this. That would have been too bad. So, either way, this game is pretty special. And if you're looking for a blind race game, it's actually not too bad, as long as you consider one thing. Remember those continues? So, a literal continue means you are starting, by the way, nice pixel art. The literal continues are starting you off right where you last died. But if you die in a place like, let's say, this pit over here, right down there, good luck in getting out. That's kind of, well, difficult to say the least. I kind of want that health. Those little health pills are pretty nice. So it's kind of difficult to get out of those places, and the literal continue often is not terribly useful. It's actually more useful to not use the literal continue, and that is just quite simply because if you use up your literal continue, by the way, bullets only deal 1 damage, so I'm not worried about that. If you use up your literal continue and then you die again, it will actually take away all your upgrades and weapons that you've purchased. So that would be the worst thing that can happen to me. Continue? No. Continue? Yes. We don't want to use the literal continue until the very end, if then even. So, also, 1.5 good things about this game. Music is half of them. Sometimes the music is... well, just listen. It's amazing. Not in a good way. So yeah, that's Rocman X in a nutshell. So sometimes I spawn some enemies here that help me avoid getting hit by those guys, but sometimes they don't. That's alright. I'm sorry. I just needed to let you hear that again. And don't worry, that music is going to get reused later. Either way, by the way, you can mess with the shopkeeper too. Pretty neat. This game has a fascinating amount of detail to it. So this guy you can only hit while he is not blinking and juggling stuff. So right now I can't hit him. Also, he does not actually have a hitbox at his feet, so I can just duck here and it doesn't hurt me. Which is kind of interesting. Either way, you can hit him 3 times on the right, then he dashes twice across, then you can hit him once on the right, then you can hit him twice on the left. And then I kind of forget the pattern. Either way, it's pure pattern. There is little to no randomness in this game at all. He dashes 3 times, throws 2 bolts, then I can hit him 3 times I think and he is dead. Either way, can you imagine this boss fight taking 3 times as long just because, well... you have a very basic weapon and you didn't know that you should save a lot of money for upgrading the weapon. It could take a while, and it just flies away to wait a second. Either way, the basic plot of this game is that the evil doctor whatever, I have no idea what the potato head is called. Also, suddenly scroll stage. He's kidnapped our lady, and we try to get her back. It's pretty simple. By the way, the interesting thing about this game is... this music here is actually genuinely good. I like it. So the basic mechanics here is I still don't have any variable jump height, so I tap the button lightly and I just jump up like that in a super floaty jump. Sometimes it's really difficult to avoid taking damage at all, but everything is patterned, nothing is random here, so it's kind of easy to avoid anyways. Well, if I cared enough to avoid it anyways. So, I can also charge up my attack here, and this is the only time where you get a charge attack that actually deals more damage, in that it deals 10 damage instead of 1 with the little pellets. The little pellets deal 1 damage, the charge attack deals 10. So you can kind of guess what I'm going to be using against the boss. The interesting thing is, if you could mash quick enough, the little pellets would be better against the boss, but I cannot mash 30 times or 60 times a second. Kind of like the tool-assisted speedrun calendar. Yes, there is a tool-assisted speedrun of this game. It was pretty helpful for routing. Either way, it's random how long it takes. I guess there is some randomness. It's random how long it takes until this balloon here appears. Which, by the way, is in the background, and it fires the boss out of... I have no idea what that is. Either way, the boss has exactly 101 health, so they troll you a little bit, and you need 1 little pellet in order to kill the boss with 10 charge shots. So that's what you're doing here. Oops. Release the charge. That was 1 little pellet there already, and I released the charge attack a little bit too early. And that should be it. So, also, it's random how long it takes until you get a transition here. Hello. It almost managed to get the full music to play. Sometimes it instantly jumps to this section here, sometimes it doesn't. I really don't know how they programmed this. Either way, my goal here is to refill my health with those little health pills, and also grab around 160 monies in order to be able to purchase health refills in shops later. It's not absolutely necessary, but it definitely speeds up the process. And yes, the music sometimes is actually good, which is why it's half of the redeeming factor of this game. So, we just kind of drive along the road with our not car right now, and here we go. So, by the way, in the background you can see the, I think, publisher of the game, Sachen, or Sachen, whatever, and it's actually pretty neat. You can see that some people tried to make this a good game and some just kind of didn't care or so. Or maybe they didn't have enough time to publish it or release it properly. Also, this was not intentional. I am very low on health, which it shouldn't be right now. Which is less than ideal. Oh, alrighty. That was less than ideal. So if I get hit by the little bullets, which by the way is the plan, to get hit by the bullets of the little birdies, whatever. I don't know why those lemmings just died there. Bullets just deal significantly less damage than their bodies, so I kind of want to get hit by the bullets instead. This turtle here normally should not hit me at all if I dash properly. The dashing is actually surprisingly finicky. You would just damage boost through this guy and into the second part of, let's say, the Wily stage, because why not? This is also the only stage here where the plan is to not get hit at all. All the other ones have at least some form of damage boost, and I just messed that up. This is actually kind of a fun little speedrun stage. You duck here in order to just weave in between two spikes here, and that just kind of works. And then you go down here, land on this platform, dash to the right, land here a little bit, preferably don't get hit because that's not the plan. Can I? Oh. Alright, that's kind of awkward. I have no idea how to get away from there because I don't know where the blocks are. That's alright. We still have plenty of time. Probably. So, either way, here we go. Try to do the same thing again, this time without falling down preferably. There we go, and that's easy enough. No problem at all on the third try. Derp. Oh well. So, by the way, I told you can mess with the shopkeeper. Here's where I would have healed if I needed the healing, but let's just mess with the shopkeeper a little bit more sometimes. I'm sorry, I don't usually do those on my streams, but I just figure it's interesting. So this guy is interesting too. He's actually the only boss who has any form of significant randomness to him. When he moves and which move he does is actually random. So it's quite interesting. I just basically shoot up my bullets trying to hit him as soon as possible. Because if he does the correct move, or one of those moves like this one, I can actually hit him twice. Of course, you cannot hurt him while he is just floating in the top right corner, because that would be silly. And yes, it is 100 monies for you to try and do something weird in the shop there. By the way, I now don't have enough money to actually heal anymore in the last shop. But we'll just not need it, it will be fine. We'll just get through about that. A full heal costs 80 gold. And I usually plan on full healing twice. Alrighty, this guy is dead. He just didn't fly away to victory, he just fell to his doom. Also, the road, conveniently enough, just leads right into the heart of the... not Dr. Wily, potato hut. So, you go to the left here. Also, this is kind of a... let's say, interesting little stage. Oops. Once again, whenever I get hit, I lose my charge. I take the healing thing here, I get hit by the rocket, which only does 2 damage, versus the robot's body, which does 4. Sometimes a bat hits me, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes this minecart here doesn't spawn. Also, if you fall down here, the curious thing is, if you fall down here, the game will not ask you for a literal continue. Which makes sense, because he would just die instantly in that pit again, which would be kind of weird. But sometimes, if you try to... well... get through, you get a bit hasty and you always know, okay, continue? No. Continue? Yes. And when you press no there, it's just kind of, well, that's that. So I need full health in this stage. So I reset real quick. And kill those guys, trying to not take any damage. Also, by the way, the amazing music is here again. So this stage, we skip about a third of the stage. And that's intentional, by the way. This game actually has intentional stage things. Also, I drop down here, because if I jump, it spawns an enemy on that platform, and that is more annoying than taking damage from the spikes. We just drop down here, through the spikes, and we are pretty much through the stage. So this stage is actually pretty large and expansive, but that's an intentional shortcut. I do think someone genuinely cared about this game. Either way, we have enough money to buy a full heal now. We've just randomly got enough money, and here we go, final boss time! Well, you can't hurt that thing, whatever that eye thing is. Because Rocman is actually more clever than Mega Man. He doesn't go for the creations, he goes for the evil dude himself. He just shoots that guy up there instead. Which honestly makes way more sense than going for his poor weird little creation that spits out eyes. Also, your lady friend just kind of finds that to be pretty hilarious whenever you smack him. I'm not sure why he doesn't move. And I'm also not entirely sure how I can hit him through the glass. By the way, if I die here, this is where you use your literal continue. I'll prefer not dying, it's a little bit faster. And we have defeated him. The potato head is gone. Hello? Of course, because this is Rocman X, you actually need to fly to your lady. That ends the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Rocman X. A pretty interesting game for the NES with 1.5 redeeming factors. So, yeah, as mentioned, this original working title is called Thunder Blastman X. Someone really wanted this game to be a good one, and unfortunately, it didn't quite get there, to say the least. Congratulations, you're now the hero of Gotham City, which, by the way, Gotham City was celebrating its 100th birthday, which isn't particularly old for a city, if you ask me. The hero. In order to praise the hero's exploit, the mayor and townspeople decide to mold his statue. Now let's take a look at his heroic bearing. It looks kind of happy. Look at this, the great figure, the great patron saint of Gotham City. Let's pay great compliments to him. Yeah, it's not Gotham City. Don't worry guys, it's Gotham. Also, by the way, the creator for the music is called... well, you can read in a second here. By Amadeus Wolf. Not quite Wolfgang. Alrighty, I think we're done here. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rocman X. I don't recommend you play this game unless you are looking for a puzzle platformer that is not intended to be a puzzle platformer. Once again, this is the fake NES emulator, the only emulator that I found that actually emulates this game properly. I've once actually found an emulator which does have the screen distortion correct, kind of like it is on console, but it doesn't have when you drop down on the pits, it actually kills you there on that one. It's pretty weird. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for having me. That was quite fascinating. And once again, thank you very much for a really quick reschedule, because I completely messed up. It would have been 3:30 AM here, and I can't properly talk because people need to sleep around here, and I shouldn't be talking during the nighttime. Oh, that's that.